Today, we dive into identity formation, how it develops, why it matters, and how you can take an active role in shaping your own path. Whether you are exploring new possibilities or reinforcing what truly defines you, this conversation will give you tools to build a strong, authentic sense of self. Let us get started. Adventures of exploration and commitment in forming a sense of identity. Dear Amelia Emberhart, our conversation about the search for meaning was wonderful. And yes, it is completely normal to feel uncertain. That is actually a necessary part of developing a strong identity. You need to explore and reflect deeply before making clear decisions. I thought it would be helpful to discuss identity formation with you to give you a more coherent understanding of the topic. This might help ease some of your anxiety. Let us begin by talking about James E. Marcia's foundational work in the field of identity development. Marcia introduced the concept of identity statuses, focusing on exploration and commitment to understand how individuals form their sense of identity. We will start with some key insights from his 1966 paper, Development and Validation of Ego Identity Status. And just to be clear, I am not a psychologist, I am simply sharing my thoughts as best I can. If there is any wisdom here, it comes from Marcia. All mistakes are mine. Let us jump right into it. In this paper, Marcia describes ego identity and identity diffusion as part of a process of growing occupational and ideological commitment. When facing commitments like choosing a career or defining personal beliefs, an individual must integrate their childhood influences in a way that helps them connect with society while maintaining a sense of inner continuity. Ego identity is your core identity, it is your personal sense of who you are, based on the values, beliefs, and roles you accept. It is the inner understanding you have of yourself and how you see yourself fitting into the world. Yes, this is complex, but do not give up. Let us continue, and it will become easier to understand. Marcia identified 4 distinct identity statuses that describe different ways young people approach forming their identities. Let us discuss each of them now, with simpler explanations to make it easier to grasp. 1. Identity achievement. These individuals have explored various roles and ideologies and have made commitments based on their explorations. They have experienced a period of crisis and have chosen an occupation and ideology that align with their values, even if it partly reflects parental wishes. They have re-evaluated past beliefs and reached a resolution that leaves them confident in their choices. Generally, they exhibit higher self-esteem and a clearer sense of self. In common terms, they score high in both exploration and commitment. I believe self-fulfilled identity describes this status pretty well. This is when a person has figured out who they are by trying different things and making thoughtful choices about their life. 2. Identity moratorium. These individuals are actively exploring different roles and ideologies but have not yet made definitive commitments. They are in a phase of ongoing exploration, struggling to balance their own desires, parental expectations, and societal demands. It can be a time of anxiety and confusion, as they wrestle with questions that may seem unresolvable. They are, in practice, going through a crisis period. We could define these individuals by high exploration but low commitment. Moratoriums often experience heightened anxiety due to their active search for answers. I simply call this an exploration phase, instead of using the term moratorium. This is when someone is trying different things and asking big questions about who they want to be, but they have not made any final decisions yet. 3. Identity foreclosure. These individuals have made commitments without undergoing an active exploration process. Their choices are often heavily influenced by external pressures, like parental expectations. They have not experienced a period of crisis but have adopted commitments that align with what others have planned for them. They are often becoming what others have prepared or intended for them to become as a child. This status can lead to a rigid sense of self, and if confronted with challenges that do not fit parental values, they may feel very threatened. Their self-esteem can be vulnerable to negative information. These individuals score low in exploration but high in commitment. Foreclosure subjects may adhere strongly to rules but can lack personal autonomy. I call this a pre-decided identity. This is when someone makes commitments based on what others expect of them, without exploring different options first. Be aware of yourself and what others are telling you to do or be. Pre-decided identity can be the most challenging status. Let us talk about this on another day, but remember, you do not want to end up in this status as you grow up. 4. Identity diffusion. These individuals have neither explored meaningful alternatives nor made firm commitments. They often seem disconnected, lacking direction or concern for making future plans. This status may involve apathy and difficulty forming meaningful relationships. They display low levels of both exploration and commitment, making it hard to find a sense of purpose. Diffusion often results in a sense of detachment and uncertainty about the future. I propose that unclear identity sums up this status quite nicely. This is when a person has not figured out who they are yet and has not put much effort into exploring their options. To put it all together simply, one must explore a lot, and one must make commitments. Both are needed to establish a strong identity. However, you should not feel pressured. As you continue on your journey, exploration will become deeper and more intentional. It will involve questioning beliefs, considering different career paths, and gaining a better understanding of your values and relationships. Feeling uncertain is normal, and this phase of exploration is vital for reducing stress and helping you build a strong identity. There may be pressure to make definitive choices about things like your career, education, or relationships before you have had a chance to explore fully. But remember, you have the right to question and explore before making commitments. This is essential for developing a healthier sense of self. I encourage you to make choices that feel right to you, rather than simply following what I or anyone else expects. While achieving a strong sense of identity is a goal, it is also important to understand that identity development is a dynamic process. Even adults revisit exploration and commitment as they grow. I have made significant changes in my own commitments just recently. It would not be a totally false conclusion that I have reached my self-fulfilled identity at a very mature age, only a couple of years ago. This helps illustrate that identity development is an ongoing journey. Finding clarity in one area does not mean you have to have everything figured out. I need you to see identity formation as an adventure you are on, rather than a test you have to pass. This is your moment.